The man who shot liberty, Valance brought Shinbone to life with unforgettable heroes, villains, and one of the greatest endings in Western history. But fame couldn't protect its stars from tragedy. Behind the success were illness, divorce, scandal, and heartbreaking loss. Let's revisit the cast in 2026, and you can't believe what happened to them. John Carradine as Major Cassius Starbuckle. John Carradine was born on February 5, 1906, in New York City, New York. At 56 years old, he played Major Cassius Starbuckle, the eccentric military officer whose colorful personality and witty remarks brought humor and charm to the story. His performance added a memorable touch to the film and reminded audiences why he remained one of Hollywood's most distinctive character actors. Away from the cameras, Carradine's personal life was often far more complicated than his on-screen roles. He was married 4 times, beginning with Ardenelle McCool, the mother of David Carradine, Keith Carradine, and Robert Carradine. Their marriage ended in a bitter divorce marked by custody disputes, child support battles, and financial troubles that occasionally made headlines. Although his later marriages brought periods of greater stability, family tensions and personal struggles continued to follow him throughout much of his life. Despite those challenges, Carradine never slowed down professionally. He appeared in more than 350 films, making him one of the most prolific actors in cinema history. Audiences remember him from classics such as Stagecoach and The Grapes of Wrath, while horror fans celebrated his portrayals of Count Dracula and other sinister figures in numerous Universal productions. Yet success came at a price. During his later years, he suffered from severe rheumatoid arthritis, a painful condition that left his fingers and joints badly deformed, though he continued acting through the pain. John Carradine died on November 27, 1988, in Milan, Italy, at the age of 82. The official cause of death was heart failure following years of declining health. His passing ended a remarkable career that spanned more than 6 decades, leaving behind one of the largest filmographies in Hollywood history, and a legacy that continues through both his work and his famous acting family. Denver Pyle as Amos Carruthers. Denver Pyle was born on May 11, 1920, in Bethune, Colorado. At 41 years old, he played Amos Carruthers, the friendly townsman known for his warm personality and dependable nature within the community. His easygoing performance helped bring heart and humanity to the story, making him a welcome presence whenever he appeared on screen. While many Hollywood stars found themselves surrounded by scandal, Pyle lived a relatively quiet life. He was first married to Marilee Carpenter and later to Tippi Johnston. Although both marriages faced the normal challenges of balancing family life with a demanding acting career, he largely stayed away from public controversy. Even so, he continued dealing with physical discomfort linked to injuries suffered during his military service in World War II, pain that remained with him for many years. Those obstacles never prevented him from building an extraordinary career. Appearing in more than 260 film and television productions, Pyle became one of America's most beloved character actors. He earned lasting fame as Briscoe Darling on The Andy Griffith Show, before reaching an even larger audience as Uncle Jesse Duke on The Dukes of Hazzard. His warm voice, gentle humor, and natural screen presence made him a favorite among viewers for decades. During his final years, Pyle quietly battled lung cancer while remaining largely out of the public spotlight. He died on December 25, 1997, in Burbank, California, at the age of 77. His death on Christmas Day saddened generations of fans who had grown up watching him on television, and he remains remembered as one of the most beloved supporting actors in American entertainment history. Strother Martin as Floyd. Strother Martin was born on March 26, 1919, in Kokomo, Indiana. At 43 years old, he played Floyd, a rough-spoken local resident whose interactions helped bring realism and frontier atmosphere to the story. Although his screen time was limited, his memorable delivery and distinctive personality added extra color to the film. After completing his military service, Martin arrived in Hollywood with very little money and no guarantee of success. For years, he worked as a swimming instructor and accepted uncredited background roles while struggling to establish himself in the entertainment industry. That perseverance eventually paid off. Martin went on to appear in nearly 180 film and television productions and became one of Hollywood's most respected character actors. He also earned lasting fame for his role in Cool Hand Luke, delivering the legendary line, "What we've got here is failure to communicate." He also became a familiar face in numerous westerns alongside John Wayne, building a reputation as one of the genre's most dependable supporting performers. However, years of constant work and professional pressure gradually contributed to cardiovascular problems that affected his health. Strother Martin died on August 1, 1980, in Thousand Oaks, California, at the age of 61. He suffered a sudden heart attack while his acting career was still active and successful. His unexpected passing brought an abrupt end to a career that had earned him the admiration of audiences and fellow actors alike. James Stewart as Ransom Stoddard. James Stewart was born on May 20, 1908, in Indiana, Pennsylvania. At 54 years old, he played Ransom Stoddard, the idealistic lawyer who arrives in the frontier town determined to replace violence with justice and the rule of law. His powerful performance became the emotional core of the film and further strengthened his reputation as one of Hollywood's greatest leading men. Away from the screen, Stewart enjoyed a devoted marriage with Gloria Hattrick McLean, whom he married in 1949. Their relationship was considered one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. However, the family suffered a devastating tragedy in 1969 when Gloria's son, Ronald McLean, was killed while serving in the Vietnam War. The loss deeply affected Stewart and remained one of the greatest emotional burdens of his life. Despite carrying those personal wounds, Stewart continued, building one of the most celebrated careers in film history. He starred in classics such as It's a Wonderful Life, Rear Window, and Vertigo, while earning an Academy Award for The Philadelphia Story and receiving an honorary Oscar in 1985. Yet during his final years, he battled heart disease, severe hearing loss, and declining health. Sadly, James Stewart died on July 2, 1997, in Beverly Hills, California, at the age of 89. The official cause of death was a pulmonary embolism, bringing to an end one of the most respected and beloved careers in the history of American cinema. John Wayne as Tom Doniphan. John Wayne was born on May 26, 1907, in Winterset, Iowa. At 55 years old, he played Tom Doniphan, the tough rancher who secretly sacrifices his own happiness to help Ransom Stoddard build a better future for the town. His powerful performance gave the film much of its emotional weight and remains one of the most celebrated roles of his legendary career. Behind the scenes, Wayne's personal life was often turbulent. He was married 3 times, first to Josephine Sáenz, then to Esperanza Bauer, and later to Pilar Palete. His second marriage to Esperanza Bauer became particularly troubled, marked by jealousy, frequent arguments, and public scandals. The relationship reportedly deteriorated to the point that Esperanza once threatened him with a firearm during a heated dispute. Combined with his demanding filming schedule and strong-willed personality, these struggles contributed to the breakdown of his marriages and years of emotional strain. Despite the turmoil in his private life, Wayne remained the undisputed king of the Western genre. He starred in classics such as Stagecoach and The Searchers, eventually winning the Academy Award for Best Actor for True Grit in 1969. In 1964, he was diagnosed with lung cancer and underwent surgery to remove an entire lung and 2 ribs. Although he returned to work and continued acting for years, cancer struck again later in life. John Wayne died on June 11, 1979, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 72. The cause of death was stomach cancer. He was buried at Pacific View Memorial Park in Newport Beach, California, where the location of his grave remained private for many years at the request of his family. Lee Marvin as Liberty Valance. Lee Marvin was born on February 19, 1924, in New York City, New York. At 38 years old, he played Liberty Valance, the ruthless outlaw who terrorizes the town through violence, intimidation, and fear. His chilling performance made Liberty Valance one of the most unforgettable villains in Western film history and provided the central conflict that drives the story. The hardships that shaped Marvin began long before his acting career. After surviving severe combat injuries during the Battle of Saipan in World War II, he spent more than a year recovering from wounds that permanently damaged his sciatic nerve. The physical pain never completely disappeared, and the psychological scars of war followed him throughout adulthood, contributing to the tough, hardened image that later became his trademark on screen. Those experiences helped him build a remarkable career playing dangerous, unpredictable men in films such as The Dirty Dozen and Point Blank. His talent eventually earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor for Cat Ballou in 1965. Yet success was frequently overshadowed by personal struggles. Following the end of his long relationship with Michelle Triola, he became the center of a groundbreaking palimony lawsuit that generated enormous publicity, damaged his finances, and created lasting legal consequences throughout California. Years of heavy drinking gradually took a serious toll on Marvin's health. Combined with lingering effects from wartime injuries and advancing age, his condition continued to worsen throughout the 1980s. Lee Marvin died on August 29, 1987, in Tucson, Arizona, at the age of 63. The official cause of death was a heart attack. His passing marked the end of the life of one of Hollywood's most distinctive tough guy actors. Lee Van Cleef as Reese Lee. Van Cleef was born on January 9, 1925, in Somerville, New Jersey. At 37 years old, he played Reese, one of Liberty Valance's dangerous henchmen who helps enforce fear and intimidation throughout the town. Although the role was relatively small, his piercing eyes and menacing screen presence made him impossible to ignore and foreshadowed the legendary villain roles that would later define his career. The greatest challenge of Van Cleef's life arrived in 1958, when a devastating automobile accident nearly ended his future in Western films. The crash left him with a severely injured knee, and doctors warned that he might never ride a horse again. Unable to find steady acting work during his recovery, he faced serious financial difficulties and was forced to support his family by working as an interior decorator while wondering whether his Hollywood career was over. Fortunately, his determination paid off. Van Cleef returned to the screen and eventually became one of the greatest stars of the spaghetti western genre. His unforgettable performances as Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Colonel Mortimer in For a Few Dollars More transformed him into an international icon alongside Clint Eastwood. Yet the effects of the accident never completely disappeared, and chronic pain continued to trouble him throughout much of his life. Lee Van Cleef died on December 16, 1989, at his home in Oxnard, California, at the age of 64. The cause of death was a massive heart attack, bringing an end to the life of one of cinema's most unforgettable Western villains. Edmund O'Brien as Dutton Peabody. Edmund O'Brien was born on September 10, 1915, in Brooklyn, New York. At 47 years old, he played Dutton Peabody, the courageous newspaper editor who uses his newspaper to expose corruption and stand up against Liberty Valance despite constant threats and violence. His performance brought intelligence, humor, and moral courage to the story, making Peabody one of the film's most admired figures. As his acting career developed, O'Brien faced an unexpected obstacle that repeatedly affected his opportunities in Hollywood. His weight fluctuated significantly over the years, making it difficult for him to maintain the image expected of traditional leading men. Rather than give up, he reinvented himself and gradually transitioned into character roles, accepting more complex and demanding parts that allowed him to showcase his acting abilities. That decision ultimately proved successful. O'Brien built an impressive career spanning more than 130 productions and earned widespread respect throughout the industry. His work in The Barefoot Contessa earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, while 7 Days in May brought him another Oscar nomination. The transition from leading man to character actor may have been difficult, but it allowed him to enjoy a long and distinguished career that many of his contemporaries never achieved. Edmund O'Brien died on May 9, 1985, in Inglewood, California, at the age of 69 from cardiovascular complications related to his declining health. His passing ended the career of one of Hollywood's finest character actors and Oscar-winning performers. Andy Devine as Link Appleyard. Andy Devine was born on October 7, 1905, in Flagstaff, Arizona. At 57 years old, he played Link Appleyard, the friendly and talkative town marshal whose honesty and loyalty make him one of the most trusted people in the community. His warm humor and unmistakable voice brought charm and heart to the story, making Link one of the film's most memorable supporting roles. The unusual voice that made Devine famous almost never existed. As a child, he suffered a horrific accident when a sharp metal curtain rod pierced the roof of his mouth, causing severe injuries that permanently affected his vocal cords. For years, he worried that his distinctive voice would prevent him from succeeding in entertainment. When the silent film era ended and talking pictures took over Hollywood, he feared his career might be finished before it truly began. Instead, the very thing he considered a weakness became his greatest asset. Devine appeared in more than 130 films and became one of the most beloved supporting actors in Western cinema. He frequently worked alongside his close friend John Wayne in films such as Stagecoach and became known for playing good-hearted sheriffs, sidekicks, and comic figures. Later in life, a new generation discovered his voice when he portrayed Friar Tuck in Disney's animated classic Robin Hood. Andy Devine died on February 18, 1977, in Orange, California, at the age of 71. The official cause of death was lymphatic failure, bringing an end to the life of one of the most recognizable voices in American entertainment. Jeanette Nolan as Nora Erickson. Jeanette Nolan was born on December 30, 1911, in Los Angeles, California. At 51 years old, she played Nora Erickson, the caring wife of Hallie Erickson, and a respected member of the town whose warmth and wisdom help reflect the values of the growing community. Her performance added emotional depth to the film and highlighted the quieter human relationships at the center of the story. Nolan began her career in radio during the 1930s, but moving into film and television proved far more difficult than she expected. Studio executives frequently dismissed her because they believed her talents belonged behind a microphone rather than in front of a camera. Refusing to accept those limitations, she worked tirelessly to prove she could be just as compelling on screen as she was on the radio, gradually earning the respect of producers and audiences alike. Her determination eventually led to a remarkable career spanning more than 120 film and television productions. She made a memorable film debut as Lady Macbeth in Orson Welles' Macbeth, and later became known for performances in projects such as The Rescuers, where she voiced the villainous Madame Medusa. Along the way, Nolan earned 4 Emmy Award nominations and established herself as one of Hollywood's most respected character actresses. Her final screen appearance came in The Horse Whisperer in 1998. Shortly afterward, Jeanette Nolan suffered a stroke and died on June 5, 1998, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 86. Her passing marked the end of a distinguished career that stretched across radio, film, television, and animation. John Quallen as Peter Erickson. John Quallen was born on December 8, 1899, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. At 63 years old, he played Peter Erickson, the hardworking Swedish immigrant farmer and father of Hallie Erickson, whose family represents the honest settlers helping build a new future in the American West. His sincere performance brought warmth and authenticity to the film and reflected the struggles of ordinary frontier families. As his acting career developed, Qualen faced a challenge that followed him for decades. Away from the screen, Qualen enjoyed a lifelong marriage with Pearl Larson, whom he married in 1924. Their relationship remained strong until his death more than 60 years later. Thanks to his happy marriage, Qualen built an impressive career spanning more than 130 films. He became one of the most trusted members of John Ford's regular acting company and appeared in classics such as The Grapes of Wrath and Casablanca. Audiences admired his ability to bring humanity and sincerity to even the smallest roles, making him one of Hollywood's most respected character actors, despite rarely receiving top billing. During his final years, he suffered severe vision problems caused by cataracts and other eye conditions, leaving him nearly blind. John Qualen died on September 12, 1987, in Torrance, California, at the age of 87. The cause of death was heart failure, ending a remarkable career that stretched across more than 5 decades of filmmaking. Woody Strode as Pompey. Woody Strode was born on July 25, 1914, in Los Angeles, California. At 48 years old, he played Pompey, the loyal ranch hand and trusted friend of Tom Doniphan, who stands beside him through difficult times. His dignified performance brought strength and quiet determination to the story, making Pompey one of the film's most memorable supporting figures. The road to success was filled with obstacles. As an African American growing up during an era of widespread racial discrimination, Strode faced barriers both in sports and in entertainment. After becoming one of the first black players to help reintegrate professional football, he entered Hollywood. Strode shared a devoted marriage with Luana Strode, a woman of Hawaiian royal ancestry. Their interracial marriage faced criticism and prejudice from parts of society, yet the couple remained together until Luana's death in 1980. Despite those hardships, Strode gradually became one of the most important black actors of his generation. His powerful performance in Spartacus earned widespread praise and a Golden Globe nomination, while Sergeant Rutledge helped challenge long-standing racial stereotypes in Western films. Through determination and perseverance, he opened doors for future generations of minority performers in Hollywood. In 1993, Strode was diagnosed with lung cancer, and his health declined rapidly afterward. Woody Strode died peacefully in his sleep on December 31, 1994, in Glendora, California, at the age of 80. His death marked the end of a groundbreaking career that helped reshape opportunities for black actors in American cinema. Willis Boucher as Jason Tully. Conductor Willis Boucher was born on May 24, 1907, in Vernon, Michigan. At 55 years old, he played Jason Tully, the train conductor who helps connect the growing frontier town to the outside world and appears during key moments involving the arrival and departure of important travelers. Though a supporting role, his performance contributed to the realistic portrayal of everyday life in the developing West. Nevertheless, Boucher built a remarkably successful career that included nearly 150 film and television appearances. He became a familiar presence in John Ford classics, such as The Searchers and The Horse Soldiers, while also appearing regularly in the popular television series Perry Mason. His reliability, professionalism, and ability to strengthen any scene made him a favorite among directors, even if major stardom remained out of reach. Away from the cameras, Boucher shared a quiet life with his wife, Lola Boucher. He avoided the scandals and controversies that often surrounded Hollywood and preferred to focus on his family and work. During his later years, he quietly battled the effects of declining health and age-related illnesses. Willis Boucher died on August 26, 1977, in Burbank, California, at the age of 70 due to complications related to physical deterioration and failing health, ending a long and respected career in film and television. Carlton Young as Maxwell Scott. Carlton Young was born on October 29, 1905, in New York City, New York. At 57 years old, he played Maxwell Scott, the veteran newspaper reporter who uncovers the truth behind the legend of Ransom Stoddard and delivers the film's unforgettable final message. His role may have appeared briefly, but it became one of the most important parts of the entire story. His perseverance allowed him to build a career spanning roughly 100 productions. While he appeared in numerous films and television programs, he is best remembered for delivering one of the most famous lines in cinema history. "This is the West, sir. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend." That brief scene secured his place in movie history and ensured that generations of film lovers would remember his contribution to one of the greatest westerns ever made. Away from the screen, Young enjoyed a stable marriage with Barbara Young and raised a family that shared his interest in the arts. Although his private life remained largely peaceful, he faced the ongoing challenge of finding steady work in an industry where supporting actors constantly competed for limited opportunities. Carlton Young died peacefully on November 7, 1994, in Burbank, California, at the age of 89 due to age-related health complications. His passing closed the chapter on a career that quietly helped shape the golden age of Hollywood. So, more than 6 decades after The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance became a Western classic, its cast left behind stories filled with triumph, heartbreak, illness, and unforgettable legacies. Which cast member's journey surprised you the most, and whose story touched you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more then and now updates in 2026.